Hey real estate watchers, Andrew Finney here, and welcome back to my channel where I dive deep into the national real estate scene. Today we've got a jam-packed episode full of the latest trends, surprising developments, and expert insights that'll keep you ahead of the curve in the ever-changing world of real estate. So buckle up and let's get started. All right, let's kick things off with a quick rundown of what we're covering today. The surprising shift in pending home sales, a record-breaking surge in mortgage rate optimism, how different states are reacting to rate changes, and of course, we'll tackle your burning questions about the market. But first, let me remind you why you can trust the info you're getting. With over a decade in the real estate game and constant communication with top industry experts, I'm here to break down the complex stuff and give you the straight facts. No fluff, just the info you need to make smart decisions. Now, let's dive into our headlines. Pending home sales have finally stabilized after a 9-month decline. That's right, folks. We're seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. A record number of consumers are betting on mortgage rates to drop in the next year. Talk about optimism. The impact of rate changes isn't one size fits all. Some states are feeling it more than others. And despite some positive signs, only a small percentage of people think it's a good time to buy. We'll unpack that paradox. Let's zoom in on our main story, the surprising turnaround in pending home sales and what it means for you. According to the latest data from Redfin, pending U.S. home sales were flat from a year earlier during the 4 weeks ending September 29th, marking the first time since January pending sales didn't decline. Now, you might be thinking, flat doesn't sound exciting, Andrew, but hold on to your hats because this is actually huge news. Why? Because it marks the first time since January that pending sales didn't decline. It's like we've been on a 9-month downhill roller coaster and we finally hit the bottom and started to level out. But here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't happening evenly across the country. In fact, Redfin reports that pending sales increased year over year in 27 of the 50 most populous U.S. metros, the most since January. Leading the pack are Phoenix with a whopping 13% increase, San Jose coming in hot with a 12% bump, and Portland, Oregon rounding out the top 3 with a 10% rise. Now, before we pop the champagne, let's keep in mind that we're comparing to a period last year when sales took a nosedive as mortgage rates surged into the mid 7% range. It's like comparing your jogging speed to when you were walking with a sprained ankle. Of course, it looks better. But here's the million-dollar question. What's driving this change? Well, it's a perfect storm of factors. Redfin reports that the average 30-year mortgage rate dropped to 6.08% a couple of weeks ago, its lowest level since April 2022. That's like a sell sign for buyers who've been sitting on the sidelines. The same report states Redfin's homebuyer demand index, a measure of tours and other buying services from Redfin agents, is up 9% month over month to its highest level since April. People aren't just window shopping, they're getting serious about buying. They also note that mortgage purchase applications are up 10% month over month. Folks aren't just looking, they're taking action. But, and there's always a but in real estate, we're not out of the woods yet. While demand is picking up, we're still seeing some headwinds. Home prices in many areas are still high, offsetting some of the benefits of lower rates. Inventory remains tight, which could lead to bidding wars as more buyers enter the market. Economic uncertainty is still a factor with some potential buyers waiting to see how things shake out. Now, let's zoom out and take a look at the bigger picture across the nation. According to Fannie Mae, the Fannie Mae Home Purchase Sentiment Index, HPSI for short, increased 1.8 points in September to 73.9, its highest level in more than 2 years. But here's the kicker. They report that a record 42% of consumers said they expect mortgage rates to decline over the next 12 months. That's some serious optimism, folks. But here's where it gets interesting. Despite this optimism, Fannie Mae notes that only 19% indicated it's a good time to buy a home. It's like everyone's excited for the party, but they're not quite ready to RSVP. On the flip side, 65% of consumers think it's a good time to sell a home. So if you're on the fence about listing your home, now might be the time to seriously consider it. Now, let's talk about how different parts of the country are reacting to these changes. It's not a one-size-fits-all situation. Realtor.com's research shows that areas with greater usage of mortgages will be more sensitive to rate changes, while areas with a higher share of outright home ownership may see less effect from the rate decrease. Specifically, areas with higher mortgage rate usage like Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Colorado are more sensitive to rate changes. When rates drop, these markets could see a quicker uptick in activity. On the other hand, states like West Virginia, Mississippi, and Louisiana, where more people own their homes outright, might not see as much impact from rate fluctuations. It's like a game of real estate chess, and each state is playing with slightly different rules. Now, I've been talking to some of the sharpest minds in the industry, and here's what they're saying. Barry Habib, the founder and CEO of MBS Highway, points out that the Fed cut short-term interest rates by 50 basis points on September 18th, initiating a new loosening cycle after more than a year with the Fed funds rate set at 525 to 550 basis points. After a lag, homebuyer demand finally responded to the lower mortgage rates. However, this was offset by a seasonal decline in price momentum. It's like 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And here's a nugget of wisdom from my years in the trenches. Don't just focus on national trends. Real estate is local. What's happening in your neighborhood might be very different from what's happening and going on across the country. Always dig deeper and consult with reputable local experts. Speaking of experts, if you're thinking about making a move in this changing market, don't go it alone. I'm here to help you navigate these tricky waters. Give me a call and let's chat about your specific situation. Now, let's tackle a question that's been popping up in our comments lately. With all this talk about rates possibly going down, should I wait to buy a home? That's a great question. Here's the deal. Trying to time the market perfectly is like trying to catch lightning in a bottle. Sure, rates might go down, but remember, as rates drop, demand often goes up, which can drive prices higher. My advice? If you find a home you love and it fits your budget, don't let the possibility of slightly lower rates in the future hold you back. The right time to buy is when it makes sense for you financially and personally. Remember, you're not just buying a house. You're buying a home, a place to create memories, build equity, and have stability. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. All right, real estate rock stars, that's a wrap for today's market update. If you found this information helpful, do me a favor and smash that like button and hype this video. It really helps my channel grow. Thank you. And hey, if you want to stay on top of the latest real estate trends and insights, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. That way, you'll never miss an update. Got questions or topics you want me to cover in future videos? Drop them in the comments below. I'll be happy to read them and make a video soon. I read every single one, and your input helps me shape my content. Let's do a quick recap of what we covered today. Number 1, pending home sales have stabilized with some markets seeing significant increases. Number 2, there's record high optimism about the future mortgage rate declines. Number 3, the impact of rate changes varies widely across different states. Number 4, despite positive signs, many still feel it's not a great time to buy, but it might be an excellent time to sell. Remember, the real estate market is always changing, and staying informed is your best strategy for success. My name is Andrew Finney, and thank you for tuning in. Whether you're buying, selling, or just keeping an eye on the market, I'm here to help you make sense of it all. Until next time, keep dreaming big and investing wisely. See you in the next video.